Alright, so I didn't really have a good day today for reasons I won't go into. But anyway, note to self to still make a recap video for chapter 12. So now I'm doing Revelation 13. So John is standing on the sand and he is watching the sea. And out of the sea, a beast stands up. The beast has 7 heads and 10 horns. Now I don't know how the 10 horns are featured, because is that 1 horn per head? Because there's more horns than heads, so maybe the horns are on its back or something. Maybe I could look at an artistic rendition of what that looks like. Alright, so here are some images. And it has bare feet. And it looks like a leopard, but it has the mouth of a lion. The dragon gives this particular beast, the leopard beast I'm going to call it, gives him and his seat great authority. And one of the heads is wounded to death, and yet right away we learn that the wound was also healed. Now all the world wondered after the beast. So it's still talking about all the world in the next verse, and they all worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the leopard beast, saying, "Who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him?" Now it really stretches the imagination to fathom how the whole world would know of this beast and be aware of it. I mean, I'm a little confused because, like, well, what is this beast human-like? Like, does it have a personality? And do each of these 7 heads have a personality? And people identify with this exact creature? Or is it some type of figurative reference to something else? But even still, this is such a wild-looking thing. Like, historically, like when? How? Where does it live? I mean, for such a wild-looking creature, it's almost like, well, the only assumption could be that this is figurative and it's really referencing something else. I could guess. So this thing speaks a lot of blasphemy, and its power is to continue 42 months. So that's like less than 4 years. So it gets specific as to what this leopard beast's blasphemy is, and it's against God, his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. So we know that this beast is not in heaven. Well, I can only assume. So this leopard beast's main mission is to make war with the saints and to defeat them, overcome them. And power was given over all kindreds and tongues and nations. So this leopard beast, who's ruled by the dragon somehow, is given power over all these people groups. All the people that dwell on earth will worship him, and specifically those whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb from the foundation of the world. And so, well, this is John recounting this. Is this John speaking, or is this being spoken to John? If I have any insight, maybe I should leave a comment below with a timestamp. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. So I can assume maybe that the saints are not to get involved taking things captive or people, and they're not supposed to kill. And I guess maybe the saints have to endure this and just have faith. And I beheld another. Well, this could maybe be a separate search word topic in and of itself. I think in the book of Ezekiel it talks about the captivity. And here's another beast. And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns, like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the beast, to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. So this next beast has some type of controlling ability. Let me pause and think. And so I looked up verse 11, this 2-horned beast, as to what this beast is supposed to look like. And it varies. I mean, I get this lion with 2 horns, a buffalo, or lamb-like beast. I don't know. Is this a lamb? So this is lacking in description. So for my own reference, I might call it the 2-horned beast. The beast with 2 horns. It's lamb-like, I guess. It doesn't really say that the beast looks like a lamb, it just says he had 2 horns like a lamb. And he spoke as a dragon. So this 2-horned beast is sort of like exercises power over the first beast. To me that sounds like it controls it. The 2-horned beast controls the leopard beast. And it also causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the leopard beast. And I guess this 2-horned beast can do great wonders, like make fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. So is this in heaven, or just like from the sky? Maybe like lightning. It'd be interesting to look this up in another language. Does it use these words from heaven, or what's the word for heaven in those cases? And I guess we're still talking about the 2-horned beast. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do. I guess those are the wonders, like lightning, or fire from heaven. And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword, and did live. So I think this is just talking about the leopard beast, once again, just elaborating on its appearance, I think. and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. So not only does this two-horned beast control the leopard beast, but when the people who dwell on earth create an image of this leopard beast, the two-horned beast has power to give life unto the image of the beast, of the leopard beast. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So you worship this leopard beast, or you'll be killed. Or more specifically, you worship this image of the leopard beast. And he causeth, I assume this is the two-horned beast, causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, that's a very interesting word, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And I looked, this is chapter 14, and I looked, and lo, a lamb stood on the mount Sion, and with him 144,000 having his father's name written in their foreheads. Note to self, well, I won't do it here, but note to self to cross-reference this verse with previous verses, which talk about 144,000, and which discuss the seal, God's name being sealed in the forehead. I'm being lazy right now, I'm not looking at it. And not for this summary, but maybe for future study, look up Mount Sion. And why does the lamb stand on that? And are there other references where the lamb is on such a mountain? And I heard a voice from heaven as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of a great thunder, and I heard the voice of harpers harping with their harps. Also note to self to look up the sound of many waters. I believe that shows up in the first chapter of Revelation, with, I think, Jesus Christ being associated with that. So, if that's the case, I should look it up, then maybe this would be the voice of Jesus Christ, perhaps? Don't know. And they sung, as it were, a new song before the throne, and before the four beasts and the elders, and no man could learn that song but 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. These are virgins. They are they which follow the Lamb, whithersoever he goeth. That would be interesting to look up references, because Jesus Christ talked in the Gospels about being of the fold, coming and going through the door. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto God and to the Lamb. And in their mouth was found no guile, for they are without fault before the throne of God. If I'm reading that correctly, every one of these 144,000. And there's another angel flying in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice, Fear God, and give God glory to him, for the hour of his judgment for the hour of his judgment is come, and worship him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. This is interesting to me. What are the fountains of waters? Natural springs? Or what's that about? Note to self to do a word search of fountains of waters. Where does that show up? And I believe it's already showed up in Revelation. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. I'm thinking out loud, but note to self below to search for fornication, because I think I'm thinking of it now, but I won't say it until I look it up later. But this is a reference to somebody specific getting drunk on the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. This isn't nice. I'm not passing judgment. I'm just noticing that this is, now we're talking about the wrath of God, and this will be in the presence, tormenting in the presence of angels and of the Lamb. Note to self also to maybe even just below write down a list of these angels. 1, 2, and 3 kind of escaped me, the first couple, which verses they are found in, but that's something to work on. I guess maybe forthcoming I should create a recap video of chapter 14. Continuing about this torment, and the smoke of the torment ascendeth up for ever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receive the mark of his name. Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. This type of sentence has sort of come up before, and it's almost saying like the saints don't do this. They don't drink of, they don't worship the beast and his image. Or they endure others doing so. John is saying, I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Write, blessed are the dead, which die in the Lord from henceforth. Yea, saith the Spirit, that they may rest from their labors, and their works do follow them. And I looked, and behold a white cloud, and upon the cloud one sat like the Son of Man, having on his head a golden crown, and in his hand a sharp sickle. And I did a Google image search. Now it's saying Jesus because I suppose Jesus is sometimes called the Son of Man. That's something I haven't completely discerned myself. But here's the golden girdle. So that's... I won't comment too much. And another angel, I don't know if this is fourth, came out of the temple crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud. So this angel is speaking to one that sat on the cloud, like unto the Son of Man. Thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is come for thee to reap harvest of the earth is ripe, and he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. Does this mean people are removed from the earth? And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, he also having a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar which had the power over fire, and cried with a loud cry to him that had the sharp sickle, saying, Thrust in thy sharp sickle, and gather the clusters of the vine of the earth, for her grapes are fully ripe. I suspect there's probably biblical precedent or reference for this. And, I think wine comes from grapes, so does that have anything to do with any of the language? Wine is mentioned a fair amount. And the angel thrust in his sickle into the earth, and gathered the vine of the earth, and cast it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. So maybe if I listening again, I can take a guess at an answer to the question whether are these people who represent the clusters of the vine of the earth, which are ripe, and they're cast into the great winepress of the wrath of God, whether this is a good thing, because the wrath of God sounds like a bad thing. And the winepress was trodden without the city, and blood came out of the winepress, even unto the horse bridles, by the space of 1,600 furlongs. That's going to take some thinking through. Horse bridles. Well, we've got some reference to horsemen already. Not just the 4 horsemen, but there's the horse army. So has this got anything to do with this verse? There's also another reference where the Gentiles are given, like the court of the city, like the outer part of the city. What's the city? Is that a specific place? Well, that concludes chapter 14.